Greetings. The 20th anniversary of Halo and Xbox just passed. It is hard to imagine that it has been so long and so short. The echoing halls of Halo combat evolved seem ancient and dusty by today's standards. The colors don't pop like in later titles. There are moments of paused action, of dead air. Still, the angular flatness of Halo combat evolved has been the basis for the imaginations of millions of people. These maps, these sounds, these rooms and sights and songs continue to inspire. Halo is much more than just a first-person shooter. It is an artistic project, full of hidden themes, thick and eerie atmosphere, mystery, suspense, thrills, and even deeper scientific and spiritual questions about the nature of reality. Halo Combat Evolved is a story about strife, corruption, reclamation, destiny, inheritance, perseverance, and more. It is a story about our deep past and our distant future. It is about who we are, where we are, and why we are. The story begins just after the fall of Reach. We explore this world through the eyes of the Master Chief, a complete product of humanity. Spartan 117 was taken at a young age from the poor outer colony, known for insurrection. The Spartans are, in some ways, a testament to the corruption of humanity. These shadow societies were exploiting people on the outer rim in human space, taxing them into oblivion. They then harvested children for their experiments, kidnapping them, and secretly replacing them with doomed clones of the children. These young children went through the torturous process of becoming weapons. Many did not survive the brutal biological augmentation. Fewer and fewer survived the deadly missions the Spartans were routinely sent on. Many of these missions were thought to maintain a tight grip in the human colonies. The true corruption of humanity in the future is characterized by ONI, the Office of Naval Intelligence. It is in ONI's hands that many have suffered and died. However, ONI had inadvertently prepared the species for the coming war with the Covenant, a sinister galactic armada bent on the eradication of humanity and complete domination of human space. The Covenant made quick work of one planet after another, until they invaded Reach, the Spartans' front doorstep. After Reach was lost, humanity was on its final defensive before complete extinction of the human race. The Dr. Halsey's lost Spartan, the Master Chief, and an AI known as Cortana were able to escape the destruction of Reach, fleeing far out into deep space. It was here, at the edge of the galaxy, where humanity's last hope encountered Halo, and changed the course of the entire war. This is the story of humanity's redemption. The ring and its environments are more advanced than any technology imaginable by this super advanced humanity, and yet more ancient than any artifact ever discovered. A halo is, of course, an object or energy representative of an angel, saint, or celestial being. A divine light that shines from the minds of the ancient and wise, bathing all who come to observe in a holy glow. The Covenant view the ring as a sort of promised land, while the UNSC sees it as a scientific anomaly and a potential weapon. The functions of Halo are vast and unknowable. There are many things the ring can do, and many secrets buried in its holographic terminals. It is heavily implied that the library, and specifically the index, contains genetic data for billions of creatures from thousands and thousands of worlds. There are maps, terrestrial maps of the ring and the nearby planets, and celestial maps of the galaxy. It contains samples of the most deadly force in the galaxy, and its infernal antidote. The flood, much like the biblical deluge we collectively dream about, is an unstoppable, almost mystical force that will eventually wipe out all sapient life from the galaxy, and perhaps beyond. The flood are a concept, a corruption, beyond the corruption of Oni, beyond the religious corruption of the Covenant. The flood had collapsed the Forerunner Empire. Halo is revealed to be an instrument of grand destruction. A final, desperate attempt by the Forerunners to shelter themselves from the flood. They left behind nothing beyond empty corridors and humming machines. The unleashing of the flood changes everything. This is a force more unstoppable than humanity and the Covenant combined. The territorial war now falls away, as a true metaphysical antagonist is released by the now seemingly small conflict. The Forerunners sacrificed everything they had built. They were about to have it taken from them regardless. They wiped the galaxy clean of sentient life, including themselves. Now the flood has returned, and the Halo's monitor encourages us to activate it. The Covenant wish to activate it to fulfill their religious purpose. However, the monitor is only choosing humans to retrieve the index. And indeed, 343 Guilty Spark assures us that the last time this happened, the Master Chief had no reservation at all. Why would we not want to eliminate all life? Perhaps the best kept secret of Bungie's Halo is this. The Foreigners aren't human. 100,000 years ago, humanity reached a level of technology and sophistication millennia beyond the UNSC of the distant future. Just as the UNSC began to colonize other worlds, so too with the Foreigners. It is, after all, human nature. The Foreigners' triumphs and mistakes, their responsibility and their hubris, is the human legacy. Only is the worst traits inherited from the Foreigners. The power, the ability to affect lives, to make decisions about the fate of reality itself. The AI creating, secret keeping, science-driven Foreigners have once again populated the galaxy, this time as the greedy and cruel warmongers known as mankind. We find ourselves back in the cycle, prepared to activate Halo's ultimate weapon. But this time, the Master Chief takes destiny into his own hands. Never again will humanity sacrifice everything for the Flood. This time, the Flood must be destroyed without destroying humanity along with it. The Master Chief reverses the Foreigner's ancient decision, and, in doing so, destroys the megastructure they had built so long ago, symbolically overcoming the mistakes of ancient humanity. The Master Chief is indeed humanity's greatest weapon, not the extravagant and deadly Halo ring. He was the right person, in the right place, at the right time. This gives the story a sense of ethereal destiny. The fate of the universe, the secrets of the future and the past all revealed in the edge of space, light years away from any civilization. But you don't just feel this sensation when learning the story. You feel it every time you listen to the humming of Halo's holographic control panels. You feel it whenever you hear the Pillar of Autumn drifting through space. You feel it every time you can hear the Flood squirming within the walls. You feel it when you hear alien boots clacking down a metal hallway. You feel it when you see the lights dimly glowing in the caverns deep beneath Halo's surface. You feel it when you see the wavy Covenant shields. The themes of Halo all resonate together. The story makes you feel the same way as the music, and the colors, and the sounds. Some things are explained to you and some are not. The story is obscured, left partially mysterious, But the world is so rich and textured that you can gather many of these answers by exploring and speculating based on the sights and sounds of Halo. We experience this entire mythos of the human saga in the farthest fringes of space, suspended between our ancient past and our far future. This is reflected perfectly in the audio and video used to tell this epic story. The dark gray of the UNSC, the steam running through the vents of the thick walls of the spaceship, the gunmetal green of the warthogs, the digital displays in the weapons. The Covenant contrasts this with colorful metallic armor, labyrinthian purple hallways and glowing holographic displays, plasma technology and blue-tinted flames, the sleek and elegant efficiency of their armor, ships, and weapons, the sick and twisted bodies of the Flood, the scurrying, ravenous infection forms, the broken bones and gaping jaws, the dry, torn skin, and the lashing tendrils, the powerful angular silver of the Sentinels, the beams of energy deep within Halo, the scrolling control panels, the natural environments of the ring, the forests and the deserts, the whistling winds and the chirping crickets, the deep caverns and the extreme mountains and cliffs. And you can feel these themes in the music, in the ancient religious chants, the technological melodies and the human monks, the tribal war cries, the shadowy shifting of the music through the Halo experience, and, of course, the epic strings heard in humanity's most poetic cinematic moments. This world feels like home to me. These rooms bring me comfort and purpose. They remind me that there is much I do not know about myself and about the world. Dr. Halsey was humanity's most brilliant scientist, working on the most cutting-edge projects to change the course of history. Her mind was developed into the supercomputer Cortana, and Cortana's brilliant mind was able to interface with Halo's control panel. She was suddenly aware of an unbelievably vast amount of information about the Flood, the Foreigners, and the Covenant. Perhaps only Cortana caught a glimpse of the true depth and scale of the epic tale of Halo, while other entries in the Halo series would later expand in different aspects of the Halo universe. The original story of Halo Combat Evolved is a self-contained, all-encompassing, ethereal, mythical masterpiece. That is why I am so passionate about every grunt, Flood, and Sentinel in this world. A part of my essence escaped into the world of Halo when I was very young, and I never quite found my way out. This is, perhaps, where I belong. And I am not alone in that sentiment. These hallways seem empty, but they are full of memories from millions of players experiencing the raw majesty of Halo.